So ladies and gentlemen, Modern Warfare 2 is almost upon us, and if you've been paying attention the past couple weeks, there's been basically tons of leaks coming out at an insane rate, just for everything, multiplayer, DMZ, Warzone 2, all that kind of stuff. But today, I'm going to be talking about specifically everything you need to know in regards to multiplayer and DMZ. We've got very specific details on a lot of the things and mechanics, especially movement and weapons, all that sort of stuff. So the really important core things we can actually discuss in great detail now. And like I said, this will probably be the last time I discuss this until the literal game comes out. So also, as a preemptive thank you for hitting 500,000 on the channel, I'm going to be doing a Vault edition of Modern Warfare 2 as a giveaway for you guys. All you got to do, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let me know your gamertag and preferred platform in the comments, and I will get in contact with one of you to get you your game. I really appreciate all the support on the channel recently. Much love, and I'll never take it for granted. So anyways, let's continue. I'll start with updated details on one of the most important features, which is movement. And I have not played Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer early, unfortunately, but people that I talked to and people that have played it early, we have a really detailed description about how this works. So yes, there is sliding in it, just like in Modern Warfare 2019 and a lot of the more recent CODs, but there is also the dolphin dive mechanic returning, and they did something that I recall making a suggestion years ago about, which I'm not taking credit for. I'm just saying it's a really good thing they've done this, but they've made these two different movement mechanics input-based. So for example, in Modern Warfare 2, if you go to dolphin dive, let's say you're sprinting and you hold down your circle button or B respectively, it will initiate a dolphin dive. However, if you just tap the button, it will initiate a slide. So it's input based now. But apparently the slide itself is uncancelable like it is in Modern Warfare 2019, at least to that extent. Now, that's what concerns me a little bit, because I've been playing Ghosts recently for a review I was doing, and I noticed the slide in that game is really clunky. There's no way to cancel it or anything, and it's pretty much useless. So I hope the Modern Warfare 2 slide isn't useless without any kind of like tech in addition to it. That's how the Modern Warfare 2019 slide actually made itself viable or even meta. I do think at some point there'll be some tech discovered about how to correctly utilize the Modern Warfare 2 slide and all that kind of thing. It took a little while for people in Modern Warfare 2019 to really understand how to properly use the slide mechanic, so I'm sure that will be a similar case for Modern Warfare 2. But also in regards to movement, swimming does make an appearance in MW2, but it's very similar to like how Black Ops 3 works, where it's essentially just an evasion mechanic. Like, it's not supposed to be the main like combatant scenario. And I recall in Black Ops 3, the underwater sections actually worked pretty well. Now, they were, I guess, slightly underutilized. Most maps didn't have water to begin with, and very often you wouldn't find yourself in it anyhow, but when you were, it made sense. And so I think if they implement it in that way, that's pretty exciting. I just don't expect it to be really that useful. And then the other mechanic we have for movement is like a ledge hang. It's very similar to, I guess, what you can do in Modern Warfare 2019 with the pistols on a ladder, except now you can hang on the ledge and sort of shoot over it. I don't really understand how this works, and the people that did play the game, evidently it wasn't yet in their build, but it is coming to the game when it fully does release. I think this mechanic is going to be very like scenario based. It's pretty much never going to get utilized, and honestly, it might be kind of pointless. Well, I guess we'll see, but it doesn't seem like something that's going to be used all that often. Next thing to the core gameplay is just how the weapons work. Modern Warfare 2019 saw the addition of, these like weapon kits and extremely customizable attachments, and MW2 is sort of following in the same footsteps, but having attachment tuning. And the way this works, roughly speaking, is like you have an attachment, let's say a barrel on your gun. You can choose to make it heavier, and it's going to suppress recoil, be more steady, and probably stabilize out faster, but it's going to be maybe at a cost to your movement speed or aim down sight speed, something like that. There'll be clear benefits and trade-offs to how you tune your attachments. I guess my only potential issue with this is I really do feel like this will make all of the attachments pretty much one and the same based on how you tune them. Like, they're gonna have no sense of identity, and you can basically make any gun anything you want at all. So there's not going to be clear strengths to running a particular weapon if you tune the attachments to make it something else. So like, for example, you could tune your attachments on an AR to make it play like an SMG and vice versa. So I'm not sure how this is going to play. It might be a lot of fun. I haven't touched it yet, so we'll see. But that is something that is evidently going to be quite game-changing for MW2. Also, I know everybody's been wondering about when the beta is releasing. They've still not made an official word on this, but there was some leak on Amazon talking about the, Vault Edition or the pre-order of the game, and apparently the codes are going to be sent out in August, but I do think that's incorrect. I actually don't think the beta is going to be until sometime in September. I could be totally off base on that, and nobody knows for sure, but based on, leaks and other information that's come out, most people are under the impression that this is going to be a mid-September beta release and a full release for the game, obviously, in October. And that would make sense. That's typically what Call of Duty's done in the past, more or less. Beta codes have also been traditionally sent out like 2 or 3 days before the actual release of the beta itself. So if we get it in like mid-September, I can see that being a very realistic timeline. But of course, who really knows at the end of the day? That is very subject to change. Now, another thing I want to talk about really quick for MW2 is maps. And based on the movement features we've talked about, there's going to have to be some pretty like jarring or pretty significant changes to how maps work. If this ledge hang mechanic is supposed to be what they want it to be, especially for MP, and honestly, it's more likely that this ledge hang was designed for the DMZ mode and also Warzone 2 more so than MP. It seemed that it would encourage them to build a little bit more verticality into the maps and make them a bit more free form. Now, I've been playing Modern Warfare 2019 and as opposed to other games like Ghosts and stuff, and Modern Warfare 2019 maps are very like open, unstructured, and free form, which I think is a good thing, especially for this game. I feel like it works, but for Modern Warfare 2, I feel like they could take that concept even farther, especially given the new movement mechanics, and I think I would like to see that happen. When it comes to kill streaks, obviously the original Modern Warfare 2 was practically known for that. In fact, it sort of popularized the kill streak system itself and the concept of that. But for this year's Modern Warfare 2, the only information we really have on streaks for sure right now are things like UAV, smoke airdrop, fuel bomb, cluster strike, and thermobaric strike. It is an Infinity Ward game, so you can guarantee there's going to be some kind of nuke. There's going to be like, AC-130 equivalents, chopper gunners, that sort of thing. How they're going to exactly work and look or be called, we aren't entirely sure. But to be honest, I expect them to sort of double down on the lethality and effectiveness of kill streaks compared to Modern Warfare 2019. I can just see them doing that, making them a bit stronger than they were in that game as well. Also, I don't know if you guys saw the leaks that came out in Warzone Mobile. It revealed a lot of like images for multiplayer maps, both in Modern Warfare 2 and COD 2024. I don't know why files are put into Warzone Mobile from these mainline Call of Duty games. I don't really understand that exactly. But we also got a lot of information about DMZ and the fact that, okay, so it's not releasing with Modern Warfare 2 this year, but it's coming out sometime in 2023. However, there's another like Call of Duty game that's free to play that apparently, according to leakers and people in the industry, have claimed that it's not DMZ and it's something entirely different. So I think I have suspicions on what that other game is probably going to be. But as far as DMZ goes, I think this is going to be coming out in early 2023. And DMZ, obviously, just for those unaware, I mean, we've talked it to death at this point, but it's basically Call of Duty's take on Escape from Tarkov. It's an extract mode, and we have had literal achievements from the mode leaked via these Warzone Mobile things. So one of the achievements is extracting with a certain weapon, extracting with a certain amount of cash and other items. So it's obviously the exact concept of Tarkov, that escape mode where, if you die, you lose all the stuff you brought in. If you escape and extract, you get to keep those things. And the idea is to get stronger and stronger as you progress through more games. Another thing I'm kind of wondering about, though, is, like, the player base of Modern Warfare 2. So there's going to be 3 main, like, MP modes. You'll have your traditional multiplayer, you'll have Warzone 2, and then DMZ. If these are all running at the same time, I assume it's going to have a pretty high player count, but that does, raise the question, is this splitting the player base a little bit too much? I'm not really sure, personally. I don't know how this is all going to play out. That is a lot of modes to be running at once and to be constantly working on, but I do think Warzone 2's got, it's got some legs. We'll see. I haven't played Warzone, honestly, in a long time, but I'm interested in trying out their next edition of this, and then DMZ is obviously the one that I'm most particularly interested in. And also multiplayer, I think is going to be quite fun in MW2, and I think we'll at least get a very good, like, grip on how the game is really going to function from the beta, which, again, in all likelihood, is probably coming out in September or somewhere around that time frame. But yeah, I guess we'll see when the time comes. I'm excited for this, and like I said, probably the last video until Modern Warfare 2 actually does come out, or the beta does at least. So anyways, have a good one, guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you're brand new, and I will see you all on the next one. Take it easy, and peace out.